Good morning, guys. Welcome in. Happy Tuesday. Welcome in. How is everybody doing? Welcome in, DJ, Majlik, Bone, Donnie, Scuda. Welcome in, everybody. Hope everybody had a nice Monday. A little bit of a slow Monday. Yesterday's price action was a bit slow, but I hope you guys all managed well. Welcome in. I didn't really do much crazy. I took one little trade on the S&P. I'll show you where I traded it. It was all right. I'll show you where it was. Welcome in. Good morning from Egypt. Wow. What time is it in Egypt? It must be probably sometime in the afternoon, I believe, right? It's got to be at least 8 hours ahead. Welcome in. Welcome. What's wrong, Brett? You seem sad. It's not sad. It's just dark outside. That's what it is. The gloominess of New York right now, it makes everyone look sad, but we're not sad. Well, you're not sad today. Welcome in. Welcome. All right, so some things going on this morning. AMD news. That's probably one of the biggest things on the docket this morning. AMD reacting to some positively to some news here. Besides that, market structuring lower here in the pre-market session, and we are going to discuss what's going on here. I took a little bit of a short yesterday, a little shorter on the ES chart off that 6,700. I'll show you where I was short. I'll show you the downside I got. But again, nothing crazy, right? It was a bit of a slow consolidated day yesterday after a big day down Friday. And this makes sense, right? This is logical. It makes sense that after a beautiful Friday session, that Monday, the next trading day, is a little bit choppy, is a little bit consolidated, and is a little bit slow, right? It is normal to see consolidated moves after aggressive moves a day prior. So today's session, I have a bit more expectations for, right? Especially because yesterday was a bit choppy. Today's session, I'm hoping is a little bit on the cleaner side in terms of price action. So we are going to discuss what's going on here in the ES chart, and you guys probably know what I'm going to say here. It is actually the description of today's live stream video is, are we stair-stepping lower, right? We're basically stair-stepping lower. The market right now is rejecting off a key level. You guys know what it is. It is very simply the FOMC highs. It is the 60, or not, what is it? Is that the FOMC highs? Hold on, confirm here for a second. It is the FOMC highs. But it is 6,700, yes. It is the major level here on the chart, and we are rejecting there in the pre-market session this morning. So very big level rejecting here. And this is perhaps the most important chart that we're going to discuss today here on our charts is going to be ES. We'll go over SPY. We'll talk about what's going on here in the SPY chart, 660 here in the SPY. We'll go over Qs, QQQ 598 as your big level this morning, and 591, 592 as key demand. We'll go over AMD. AMD actually a really nice bull chart. So AMD in a pool of red, in a sea of red, is obviously moving higher, okay? And there's a reason for this. They just partnered with Oracle. And for that reason, obviously, you're seeing 50,000 chips from Advanced Micro Devices, AMD stock, or actually Oracle to deploy 50K AMD chips. So very big news here on AMD. So we'll talk about that. And you can see this beautiful head and shoulders here. So an invalidation of the head and shoulders, I think is going to give us some upside today. So let's watch this today. Let's watch AMD main watch. We'll go over Nvidia. Nvidia obviously a little bit weaker than AMD, right? But back at support here, 184. And the question is, what does AMD, or what does Nvidia rather, do at 184 today? So some big things on the docket this morning. It may not seem so big, but it is big. It's always big every single day. So let's dive into this for a second. I want to go over the earnings reports very briefly and discuss what's going on here on the earnings docket. Okay. So for today's session, we have some big bank names reporting. BlackRock, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, all reporting earnings. And that's part of the reason why you're seeing some major volatility on the S&P this morning, but not so much on Qs, right? You can kind of see that the SPY chart is a bit more volatile this morning than the Qs. Look at QQQ chart, you can see it's moving down, but SPY is actually is moving down more, right? And the reason why is look at GS moving down lower, JPM kind of flat. but then you have Wells Fargo, WFC gapping up. So lots of ebbs and flows here on the bank side this morning. Of course, I'm not really watching banks. I don't really trade banks, but this is going to impact your SPY chart. So just be aware of that when trading SPY today. Is look to see what is the XLF doing. The XLF is the financial side of the market, right? The XLF is the financial ETF. So keep this on the back burner today. I don't think we'll discuss this today, but just if you are trading SPY, you might want to watch the XLF this morning. Okay. The only reason why is because of those bank earnings. Besides that, you have ASML tomorrow in the pre-market session. You have Karu in the after hours today. Who's trading Karu? If you're trading Karu, you got bigger problems. That is crazy. I've never heard of this one before. Karu. What is Karu? Karo. Karu. What the hell is this? What do these guys produce? I would be so curious to see what these guys produce. Never heard of them. Never heard of them. All right. So besides that, TSM on Thursday, and you guys know this stuff. We'll dive into it later. Right on the Tuesday chart this morning for econ data, you're going to see my face is huge. It's blocking everything, which is fantastic, right? Because this doesn't matter. So we can make my face huge. No, it doesn't matter. Let's go small. Oh, bam. There we go. There you go. Awesome. So on the Tuesday chart this morning, nothing's important here, right? So just obviously close this out. We have no important data this morning. The only important data we have is Wednesday. Wednesday we have some Fed speakers, and then obviously Thursday session as well. But as of right now, nothing is big here on the econ docket. Okay. So with that being said, let's dive into our charts this morning, and we'll have a fun old time going over the first ticker of the morning, which is SPY. Okay. So what happened yesterday on the SPY chart? Basically, yesterday was a supply rejection. Okay, so you saw us consolidate for a while. You saw some choppiness. You saw some consolidated moves, but then ultimately you saw us move back into supply, which was, in our eyes, was this supply right here, 664 and change. And then you saw us reject off that supply and basically move down lower in the into close of our Monday morning. Right now, what's happening here on this Tuesday morning is you're seeing a gap down continuation move of that. Is Powell speaking today? I don't see that on the docket though. Why is Powell? Hold on a second. Is that true? Powell is speaking today. Let's confirm this, guys. I want to just take a second. I did not see it on Econo Day, but I will look on Market Watch and see if it's maybe there. Is he speaking today? Today is Tuesday, October 14th. Oh, he is speaking today. That is so insane. So, yeah, Powell is speaking today, not on Econo Day. So this is not on Econo Day, but you guys are absolutely right. Excuse me. At 12:20 today, Jerome Powell is speaking. That is very important. That is extremely important. It's literally on Econo Day. I don't see it. It's not here on my end, right? I mean, unless it's been added in. Look at mine. You can see mine right in front of us. Not there. And then now it is there. What just happened? They just updated this whole thing? Mine was not showing that. That is so bizarre. Okay, so updated. This must be an updated Econo Day. I mean, this was not there as of this morning at 6 o'clock. So it looks like they just updated it. But again, Jerome Powell is speaking at 12:20. That's what it is, right? So obviously, just be aware of that going into our Tuesday morning. So that makes things more exciting, though. This makes things more interesting, right? More volatility. I'm excited for it. 12:20, Jerome Powell. Let's be aware of that going into our Tuesday morning, right? So into our charts now. Let's discuss our charts. On the SPY chart, you can see this morning. Yeah, I guess I have to start doing that. Is refreshing our Econo Day at 8 o'clock. Brett, your head was blocking the news. You're probably right. You're probably right. So on the SPY chart, basically, yesterday's session was all about where our mindset after a big move down on Friday was where can we find the supply rejections, right? And I think we did a good job waiting for that. I mean, for me, what I did yesterday on SPY was I did not trade the whole morning. In fact, I literally sat tight the whole time. I waited for us to see a little bit of a push above highs. And then once I saw a failure come in, I shorted and got some downside in the market, right? And granted, I didn't get that much downside. In fact, this was not even a big trade for me. But I was happy with the level of patience that I had yesterday because I took it really easy, right? And I think that the most important level that we had yesterday was the level that we traded off of, right? It was that ES 6700 level. And on SPY, you may have some difficulty finding why 664 is important. And if you guys recall from yesterday, 664 wasn't really on my charts, right? It was mostly, I think it was 663 and change was my level on SPY. So some adjustments have been made here, but the main reason why some adjustments have been made is because we are adjusting for that ES 6700, right? This was the big level that we had going into our Monday morning. And basically all I did yesterday was just look for us to pop the highs here, fail back below. I shorted that candle right there and got downside into there, right? That was it. That was my day yesterday. And this was not a big trade. Ultimately, I ended up doing the same thing again in the Monday after hour session, which actually was much, much bigger if you were a futures trader. But again, the trades yesterday were choppy. They were slow, they were consolidated. It was not a big trend day yesterday, but we did reject off supply. And I think the key thing to note this morning on our charts is understanding the fact that we are continuing off a supply rejection, okay? So going now into our Tuesday session, we have rejected off the 664. We've broken under 660, which is super important this morning because we are now beginning to see some more aggression to the downside. And the key thing to note today's session is I don't really care so much about 664 anymore. My main focus this morning is going to be, are we under 660? Because if we can do a little bit of a PDL rejection this morning off of the previous day lows here, I'm looking for shorts right off that 660 level because again, that's my new level this morning. So if I see us pop into the 660 today, I'm looking for a fade spot there. That's my top watch this morning. Again, if you do see us break and hold 660, I would expect us to trend higher back into this play here. So if you're trading the ES and SPY today, I would base everything on one level. I would base it off of 660 on the SPY chart. If we are above it, bullish. If we're below it, bearish. And where are we bullish into? Like if we see us break and hold 660, then we're bullish as far as 664, which is 6700 ES. And I'll write it out for you guys just so we have it, right? You guys must understand how important this level is. 6700 ES is the major level, okay? So even if you do see us clear above 660 today, it's not going to send us all the way to the moon, right? We're just going to go, you should just go as far as this high over here, right? So again, 660 breaks back into 664. Excuse me. But if we reject 660, which is our top watch rejects, we're looking for a move back down into 655. That's just what it is today's session. Very simple approach going into our Tuesday morning, right? Expect some volatility with the FOMC speech it's not an FOMC speech, but it is a Jerome Powell speech at 12:20. Okay. Losing my voice already, and we're 16 minutes into the stream, which is not a good sign. On the ES chart, same thing, right? Same thing. We've already kind of discussed this already. It all comes down to 6700 ES, right? This morning, or yesterday rather, it was about the 6700 pop and fade. We popped it, we faded it, we saw some downside move yesterday, and today we're seeing a continuation of that rejection. That's all we're seeing right now. The question this morning is, do we see a continuation fade off of the PDL? And the PDL on our ES chart is 6660. So looking for this today is the pop and fade, downside move. That's all I have today here on the ES chart. So 660 or 6660 PDL rejection. If we can do that, I'm looking for shorts there. Target back into 6600 ES. Be careful of something today though. One thing I want to note is I don't think that we should be short. I don't think we should be short back into this golden pocket level, right? This level over here, this golden zone right here is a very big level here on the ES chart. Be careful of that, right? So don't be short into this level. If you're looking for a short today, it's got to be at the PDL, which is again Monday's lows, or it's got to be a move under the golden level for the downside play, right? That's where the shorts come in today on the ES chart, okay? Let's move on. Let's go over Q's chart. All right. I keep muting myself. So if you guys see me muting myself, it's because I'm sneaking a cough in, right? I don't want you guys to hear that because it sounds awful, right? On the QQQ chart, you can see here that basically it was 60250, right? That's where we saw a supply rejection yesterday. Now, granted, I don't think this chart was as sexy as SPY. The reason why I think is because tech was actually maintaining pretty well yesterday. Now this morning, tech is selling and we've gapped down pretty aggressively. You guys know how we should combat gap downs. Okay, gap downs should be approached by a pop and fade. Okay, so if we can pop and fade back at a 598, I'm looking for shorts there. That's all it is today here in Qs. Likewise, if we fail today, 591 is our demand below. Don't be short back into 591. If we clear 598, we're going higher, but only as far as 60250, because 60250 is our key supply above. So our levels are pretty simple today here on the Qs chart. It is 591. It is really 591, 592. It is 598, and it is 60250. That's all we have today, right? So as long as we're under 598, we're bear sentiment. Okay. I'm gonna put a cough drop in. I'm not even bad. Like the thing is, when I start talking and yelling is when I start coughing. It's a weird thing. I don't know why. So hopefully I'm better soon. I hope it doesn't last too long. So again, level here, and level there. Those are the three things I'm watching today's session here on Qs. But as of right now, we are bearish as long as we're under 598. This is your top watch for shorts today. If you're a Qs trader, look for a PDL rejection. Okay, let's move on. Let's go over AMD. So AMD is an extremely sexy ticker this morning. Okay, it is sexy because of a strong catalyst. And right now, you're seeing the news this morning. I'm gonna let you guys read it so I don't have to read it. Read the news, right? Bam, right? Oracle to deploy 50K chips from AMD, which is causing a nice upside move here on AMD. So what can we watch here? Well, if you're a bear, your bear mindset is going to be what? Everyone from a bear perspective here in AMD is saying, look at this beautiful head and shoulders. That's what they're saying, okay? So what's going to invalidate that head and shoulders? The head and shoulders is invalidated by a break above. Oh, by the way, still here, 999. Thank you. Much appreciated. Still here. That is very kind of you. Thank you very much, as always, for supporting. But okay, on AMD's chart, it is all about 227 today. If we can clear above 227, I think we can see upside back into 243. That's just simply what it is. So my top watch today is going to be if we can clear above these highs. Now, granted, you may actually want to sneak something in here too. If you want to sneak something in here, you can sneak a trade in here above the PDH rather, with PDH being 224. You could actually sneak something in here. If you want to sneak something in here, you could sneak a trade in here in between 224 and 227, because I do think there is upside potential here above the PDH, obviously, right? But we need to get above this green band. If we can break above the green band, I think we'll see some sustained upside back into these highs here. So I am keeping AMD on the main watch, not only for today, but going into our Wednesday session and our Thursday session. Okay, this is a very important watch, especially when the market flips, because right now the market is red. The market's gapping down, and look at what AMD is doing. So if the market can find a base somewhere, we can trade AMD above the PDH, we can trade AMD above 227, we can trade it back into the 240s and change. As of right now though, the head and shoulders is still valid. You can still see it. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. So let's not go balls to the wall and just start jumping in this at 933. Let's wait for a proper clearance here. We'll trade it back into highs. Okay, moving on. You can hear me. When I start yelling, when I start getting excited over tickers, that's when my voice conks out. So let's not do that. Let's try to stay monotone, all right? If you guys hear me yelling, tell me to stop yelling. NVIDIA. All right, I can't yell about this one. I can't yell about this one. I cannot yell, but I really want to yell. 184, okay? I'm going to say it I'm going to say it very hush. 184. If this breaks, we can trade this downside. Very simply, okay? 184 is your channel low. We've seen it time and time again. I was even watching it 190 yesterday for longs, and look what happened to me. Well, granted, I didn't trade this, but look at 190. 190 failed again. So 190 failed, and the channel on Nvidia is still intact. So right now, channel high yesterday, back to channel low this morning. So here's the question. Can we break underneath 184? If we can, downside, back into these lows over here, back into Friday's lows. I think this could be a top watch this morning going into our Tuesday morning. Now, granted, if you see us hold the 184 today, then you know that this is not happening, right? That we're probably just going to grind higher, possibly even back into the channel high here, back into 190s. So as of right now, the scenarios are pretty simple here on Nvidia. It's either going to be, do we break the channel low here, which is 184, 184, 184, 184, in which case you see a nice sustained downside move back into the Friday's lows here. Or do we just hold the channel low like we've done time and time again and move back into highs here? Now, granted, where I would get involved here in Nvidia is going to be the first. It'll be this trade here. If we see this happen, I get involved. I'm trading this back into lows, right? Moving on. SMH. On the SMH chart, the SMH chart we did not talk about yesterday, okay? But I think it's important we discuss this today. The SMH chart is back in a very low volume node. And it's going to get dangerous here, okay? The reason why I'm saying this is because look at this price action right here. You're going to see that there is nothing really holding this chart up. Between 335 and 324.50, very low volume, very quick move higher. On Friday session, very low volume, quick move lower. Equal move up, equal move down. Now, SMH is sitting right underneath a key supply this morning at 335. In my eyes, this should go back down into these lows here, right? As long as we were doing this today, this is where we're going to. So be careful of semis today. Obviously, AMD strong, but NVIDIA's weak. So one of them is going to win. Is it going to be AMD clears at 227, 224 area, or is it going to be NVIDIA breaks under 184? Now, right now, it looks like semis are leaning towards downside as long as we're under this 335. It's a very simple pivot here. You can see how important it's been time and time again. 335, very important pivot. And if we start failing today, if you see us do this, now this is like the most important thing I'll say is right now, we don't know what's going to happen here. But if you see us begin to do this, right, then we can kind of see what's happening, right? We know at that moment, shit, okay, this is leading to a supply rejection, and we're likely going to see the move lower back into demand. So be aware of this. If you see us start retest rejecting here off 335, then you know what's happening. Right now, it's leaning towards this being the case. If you see us break and hold above it, right, then obviously this is going higher. But as of right now, a retest rejection here at 335 is your top watch for semis, okay? And if it, of course, if semis begin failing, then you can watch NVIDIA under that 184, okay? Moving on. Let's keep moving on. Let's go over the next ticker. Let's go over a few more. Burmy Trader, much appreciated, Burmy. That is very nice of you, very kind of you for always supporting, right? I'm surprised that we have over 1,000 people here dealing with this. I feel like we're going so slow this morning, and it's so choppy because of my voice. But anyway, doesn't matter. I'm happy you guys are all here. Nobody's complaining either, but it seems to be pretty good. Let's go on. Apple. I appreciate you guys. I really do appreciate you guys, by the way. That's very, very, very nice. I think it's because there's no new people. It's always the same group, which is probably better, because if we had new people, they'd be going crazy, right? Apple chart. Apple chart is sandwiched between a big demand and a big supply, okay? And yesterday we spoke about the potential upside on this chart, right? We said, shit, we were actually short this chart over here on Friday and here on Friday. But then on our Monday morning, we said, guys, be careful shorting, because look at where this chart is coming off of. It's bouncing off of a very big level of demand here, right? 240. Now, to be honest with you, I think that this chart is more bull-sided. I do. I think it's more bull-sided right now, but the weakness in the market is selling this off. Now, where can we trade this long side? Where's a long side trade here in Apple? Well, of course, 240. This is top watch. If we do get that, that should be a nice trade. But the secondary watch I'd look out for today's session is going to be a break above the Tuesday's highs. The Monday's highs, rather. Monday's highs. If we can clear Monday's highs, 250, which is far away, but it's not so far away, right? Again, this would only be a small move higher. Okay, so if we can clear above Tuesday's highs, 250, I think we could see a very quick move into 253. So my trades here on Apple are going to be either this or it's going to be either this. That's all it is today here in Apple for me, at least how I'm viewing this chart, because I'm viewing this as a bullish retest hold off of 240, which is that daily time frame demand, right? Moving on. Let's go over a few more. Let's go over Oracle. A little bit of Oracle action here this morning. Okay, Oracle reacting to news here and doing nothing. I'm actually going to skip it. I lied. I'm sorry. Intel doing nothing as well. In fact, we're going to skip this too. Tesla, right? Pretend it didn't happen. On the Tesla chart, Tesla is doing the same thing that Nvidia is doing. Okay, basically channel high, channel low. You can see here channel high being 445, channel low being 416. Now, yesterday we discussed this idea of the channel. And we said, basically we are just holding the channel high here. And where do we go to? Probably, the channel low. We're going to the channel high. Now, yesterday you saw some upside. Not quite as far as the channel high, but we saw some upside. And today's session, I think you should just be aware of one thing. Don't be short back in a 416. That's it. The most important thing I'm going to say here on Tesla is not what to do, but rather what not to do. Okay. And for me on Tesla, it's don't be short back in a 416 and don't be long on Tesla back in the 445. That's it. I don't really have any crazy plays here. If I want to see a crazy play, I want to see this happen or I want to see this happen. That's where I can get crazy again on Tesla. Tesla needs to make a move. Maybe it does, but it hasn't done it recently. Okay. Let's move on. Let's go over a few more, guys. Let's go over Meta. So this is Rav's chart here. But you can see if you are trading Rav's chart, you are trading off of 690 as your demand below, I presume. Okay, this is just a big demand that you have below us, and you can see here that there is supply around on the 1 hour chart. You can see supply on the Meta chart. Now you can obviously tell I don't trade Meta very often because I don't have much to say here. But 710 is your supply above. Okay, the way that I would trade Meta is I would trade it continuation moves above 710, back into 720, or below 690. For a downside move back into next daily demand, which would be back into 677. Okay, so that's all I would do here at Meta. I don't get involved here on Meta on smaller levels. I would only get involved in Meta either above the PDL, which would be 710 and change. If we can reclaim that level, we could see upside. But as of right now, we're underneath it, right? So this is the supply we have to get above here on Meta's chart. If we could reclaim this supply zone, the PDL, which is again that Monday's lows, then we can see a move back into the Monday's highs. I don't really want to get involved on Meta in between this though. In between 710 and 690 is an area I would not be involved in. I would be involved above the highs or below the lows. That's just what it is today here on Meta's chart. Okay, Hood. People are asking for Hood in the chat. Hood. On the Hood chart, it's all about 130. Actually, you're getting a break and retest here on Hood. This is your break and retest right in front of you here, right here at 130. This is your long on Robinhood. If you're looking for anything today here on Hood, it's got to be 130 holding. That's what it has to be. Okay, 130 breaks. We're going back to 117. But as of right now, 130 is your critical demand below us. I would look for us to hold there because if we do, that's your hold spot, right? I feel like I'm getting into the flow of it now. Now I'm getting into the flow of it, right? We're waking up. Let's go. Did you miss AMD? Yes, you absolutely did miss AMD. AMD was a top one this morning. Go back. It's like about 15 minutes ago. Okay. T-Mobile, TUMS. Whoa, Emmanuel. Wow, shit, that's crazy. That is going straight to the October giveaway. Much appreciated, Emmanuel. That is absolutely awesome. Wow. I hope that's coming out of some profits from yesterday. I hope that is coming out of some profits from Friday or yesterday. That is absolutely insane. Emmanuel, insane. You are a gentleman. Much appreciated. What car is that, by the way? What do you got over there? That's a Corvette? Or is that a McLaren? I can't even tell. Is that a Corvette or McLaren? I can't tell what it is. Someone in the chat confirm with me. But I think it's a Vet. I think it's a Vet. Amazon. Oh, it's a Ferrari. All right, so I'm completely wrong. It's a Ferrari. All right, call me. I'm an idiot. Whatever. That's crazy. It's a Ferrari. All right, Amazon. On the Amazon chart, you can see here basically just channel high, channel low, right? So you have channel high, 225, channel low, 218. I said yesterday, don't be long, don't be short back at 218. And I think that was a good idea, right? We said basically this is your demand here. This morning, it's the same thing, right? I don't see anything crazy here on Amazon, but I would say if you want to look for longs today, look for the 218 reclaim. If we do, look for a pushback and highs here, 221, right? That's what it is today here on Amazon. All right, 218 reclaims back into 221 here on Amazon, right? Let's move on. Let's go over a few more. Can we do Nasdaq? I'll do Nasdaq. Yeah, I'll throw Nasdaq in here. Nasdaq. So Nasdaq, shit. Wow. This is why you want the Nasdaq. Look at the Nasdaq yesterday. Look at this chart. Take a second. Look at this chart right in front of us. Look at this 25,000 NQ level yesterday. I said that the QQQ was horrible. I said that the Qs were horrible yesterday, 60250. And look at what happened yesterday. You can see this was supply, right? We knew this was supply, 60250, but this was not as important. This is, you can see it, right? But look at the NQ chart. The NQ chart was 25,000, literally on the penny yesterday. That was your failure point, okay? So this morning, you're seeing us kind of continue that rejection off that 25,000 rejection, right? So I would look to see, can we build back underneath the next level of demand, which in my opinion appears to be 24,500. If we can break down under 24,500, we're seeing the possibility of this lower high, and then now we'll see a lower low here, right? New lower low would be the most likely scenario after that rejection here of highs. So 25K NQ, big level. Next level that I'm looking for shorts underneath would be 24,500. If we can break beneath that level, look for shorts back into these lows over here. This is actually something I want to watch today. I'm not a big Qs trader, but watch this. This is going to be really big. Okay. Holy shit. Wow. Emmanuel, $200. Oh my God, that is insane. Much appreciated. That's all going back to you guys too, guys. That is all going back. I promise you, it's all going back to you guys. That is absolutely insane. Emmanuel, that is a very kind thing to do. And yes, I absolutely will go over Bitcoin. Let's go over Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's selling a little bit, right? And I think everyone's kind of seeing the sell. But is it breaking anything of importance? And the answer is not really, right? Basically, this is just retesting the previous all-time highs here, right? So you have the January 2025 highs at 108, right? And that's the hold spot that you're seeing right now. So if I'm viewing this right now on Bitcoin, I'm viewing this as a bullish hold as long as we're above the level, right? You're seeing basically high produced here, a high produced here, a little bull flag here, a breakout, and a retest of that demand. Now, granted, we are selling off with some selling pressure. I see it. But as long as we are above 108, we're holding. If we lose 108, then I argue we sell back into probably, I would argue we go back into the 80s, right? So I keep my levels on Bitcoin very simple because I don't trade Bitcoin very often. And when I do look at Bitcoin, I want to focus on the bigger levels. So for me, the bigger levels are 108. You can argue probably 100 as a psych level, but really for me, it's 108 and then 80. That's all it is. So if we break 108, we're going back at 80. But as of right now, 108's holding. As long as 108's holding, this is a bull side move for a move higher back into 126 and change. So keep this as still a bullish play as long as 108's holding here on Bitcoin. Guys, that is a gentleman move, Emmanuel. You absolutely did not have to do that. But that is very kind of you. I hope that money is coming out of some nice Bitcoin profits. Hopefully, it's coming out of some nice Bitcoin profits on BTC. Anyway, that is what I'm going to do today. I'm going to call it here. Thank you all for joining in. Everybody, say a big shout out to Burmy Trader, still here 999, and Emmanuel. You guys are absolutely insane, and that just only goes to show like. I feel like I was surprised how many viewers we had this morning because I thought you guys would all leave after I was basically swallowing all my words because I was basically coughing everything up. But I appreciate you guys all staying here with me and going over all the charts. And I'll see you guys all for live trading. Have a happy and safe trading session. See you guys all there. Bye, guys.